So good afternoon, I'm Tom Henkel, an early organizer and a member of the coordinating committee of the Chapel Hill Alliance for a Livable Town, also known as CHALT. We are a grassroots organization of citizens with many hundreds, perhaps thousands of supporters. As some of you know, our group began roughly a year ago and quickly gained momentum. Many of us had volunteered our time and expertise to take part in the Chapel Hill 2020 planning exercise and its offshoots. To our surprise, not only were we ignored by the mayor and his supporters on the council, we were portrayed as that noisy minority that complains about everything. We kept asking our friends and neighbors if they liked the way Chapel Hill was changing, and nobody said yes. So we banded together, and the rest is history. Or at least the history of unpaid hard work and many hours. It's appropriate that we are standing here, or sitting here, across from the first project in the misguided and poorly conceived form-based code zone passed last year. Tonight, the town council is considering tweaks to the code, including one that will clarify that the town's resource conservation district rules will not apply. We think this zone needs an overhaul to realize our community values, and we need new leadership to accomplish this. CHALT held the first candidates forum last Tuesday evening. All the candidates except Paul Neby, who was out of the country, were there. And the place was packed, standing room only. Since it was our forum, we got to choose the first round of questions. So we asked questions that would show whether the candidates' values and goals meshed with ours. Then last Thursday, we invited and convened a meeting of CHALT's most active supporters to vote on our endorsements. We noted the essential planks of our platform and went down the list. How did each of the candidates stack up against our goals for a livable town in what they said and advocated during the forum? Just to summarize, these planks are: 1, deal effectively with traffic and transit problems. The council still has not received from staff a town-wide traffic study including the effects of approved projects. 2, encourage local business, startups, and light industry to broaden our tax base. The council's building of residential instead of commercial development is costing us. There's net revenue gain from commercial and light industrial, but there's net revenue loss, net loss for residential. 3, retain and promote affordable housing. The high-end residential development is pushing out affordable rentals. 4, make sure all new development meets environmental standards. I've already mentioned the concern that tonight the town is proposing that the RDC does not apply to the Ephesus-Fordham district. 5, exert proper oversight over the town manager. In some of our estimations, the town manager seems to be managing this council. That's kind of backwards. Next, prioritize keeping Chapel Hill leafy and livable. I like that, leafy and livable. Thanks, Julie. The mayor and council are doing the opposite. Support growth that reflects our history as a small, progressive, friendly college town. And here I would note that many of us came to live in Chapel Hill to get away from the more dense conditions of large metropolitan areas. Finally, spend our tax money wisely and reprioritize how our tax money is spent. Some of us believe that we should direct our tax money towards more essential services. For example, more building department inspectors, and not so much on public relations. For the incumbents, the process of determining which one we would endorse was easier. We have their voting records that are generally contrary to the CHALT platform. So after a 2-hour discussion, we took a vote. It was unanimous in favor of Pam Heminger for mayor, and Jessica Anderson, Nancy Oates, and David Schwartz for council. We think that these are exceptionally strong candidates. All have demonstrated their commitment to the high ideals that Chapel Hill's elected officials should embody. And they all possess what I call inquiring minds, which will enable them to make the tough decisions in the years ahead. I believe you all got short blurbs in the press release about these 3 candidates, so I won't read them all, except to say that Pam Heminger is a former Orange County Commissioner and school board president. Jessica Anderson has a master's degree in public policy from Duke University. And she currently serves as the principal investigator of North Carolina's Read to Achieve program. Nancy Oates, a successful freelance journalist and founder of the blog Chapel Hill Watch. Nancy knows what's been going on with council and town affairs over the last 6 or 7 years than anybody I know. I think she probably knows where some of the skeletons are too. In the closet, that's an old expression. And finally, David Schwartz. David Schwartz, Chapel Hill native, UNC graduate, a PhD in environmental psychology. He lives right close to Evers's Fordham in Little Richfield neighborhood. And he's frankly concerned if there's much more impervious surface constructed without good stormwater management, he could get flooded away. He's got one of the best minds I've ever met. We have 4 people for mayor and town council that are going to make the current incumbents, in comparison, show that they can't measure up. So without more, I'll ask Pam Heminger to come up and say a few words, and then we'll pass it on to our other 3 candidates. So Pam.
I'm so pleased to receive this endorsement from the Chapel Hill Alliance for a Livable Town. This grassroots organization is working hard to engage people in the conversations about the future of Chapel Hill, and I appreciate all that hard work. This campaign has offered me a chance to speak with citizens, business professionals, and community leaders from all over the town, most of whom share the same kinds of concerns about where we are headed. We know we need to diversify our tax base. We want affordable housing. We want to protect the environment with high standards, and we want inclusiveness. Yet that's not seem to be what the priorities are. We do need leadership that is collaborative, inclusive, but mostly that sets priorities and works with our partners such as UNC, the schools, and the county. We can have good development that meets our goals and provides for the public good, while making our community a diverse and vibrant place to live and work. And I'm just going to add that I've gotten into the commercial real estate development area of Chapel Hill, and it's been a fascinating experience. Going through permitting has been difficult. I understand why we've been considered closed for business for a long time, but there are good developers out there. I have met with many of them who want to develop good projects in Chapel Hill. They seem to understand the need as well, that we need more commercial development in the form of office space to bring better companies here. We don't have any big spaces to do that, so that we can promote jobs, so that we can have internships for students, but also to revive our own economy here. If we had more places for more businesses to be here, it would make some vibrancy in our community. Instead, we're doing this very heavy, dense residential that's not providing those green spaces we wanted and just adding more people to the mix. I don't think that's going to solve the issues that we have today. It's just going to make them bigger in the long run. So, I know we need a change of leadership because we need a change of direction. The manager sets the agenda and the tone, the manager is setting the agenda. It's the mayor and the council who should be setting the agenda and the tone for our community, and I'd like to see us move in that direction. Thank you for your support. I'm very
And now in order as they appear on the ballot, Jessica Anderson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll try and keep this brief. My name is Jessica Anderson, and I am delighted to be endorsed by the Chapel Hill Alliance for a Livable Town. Thank you to the endorsement committee. This is a special endorsement as it represents a grassroots effort by Chapel Hill residents, not outside financial interests. Thank you again, and I look forward to continuing to represent all the citizens of Chapel Hill. I appreciate all your support as we approach Election Day. So don't forget, you can get all our yard signs, our magnets. You can use your body as a billboard if you want, if you don't already have one. And keep giving me your input on what you want Chapel Hill to be. Thank you.
And next in order, Nancy Oates.
Thank you. I'm Nancy Oates, and I am honored to receive CHALT's endorsement. When I first heard about CHALT and CHALT's platform, I thought, these people get it, why everybody is concerned about shaping development. Most of us come to Chapel Hill and we live our lives and we think everything is great until it's not. Till something gets built and it floods our homes, or our taxes go up, or our schools get overcrowded. And at that point, it's too late, and I really appreciate that CHALT is thinking ahead and planning and working behind the scenes and trying to keep the council's toes to the fire and shaping development. And I hope to be on the council and work with CHALT in shaping that. Thank you.
You know, every team needs a strong person bringing up the rear. Here's one.
Thank you, Tom. I will also be brief.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Okay, well, I'm also a former college professor, so I don't need a microphone either. Since its inception, the Chapel Hill Alliance for a Livable Town has been a refreshingly informed and thoughtful advocate for good governance and responsible stewardship. CHALT has been instrumental in documenting some of the excesses and poor judgment of the incumbent mayor and council, and CHALT has shown and called for us to move beyond the current polarization of our politics and to move forward together toward a more prosperous and inclusive and sustainable future for Chapel Hill. And as Tom noted, CHALT relies entirely on the effort of volunteers, the efforts of residents who give generously of their time and expertise simply because they love Chapel Hill and they want our town to be the best that it can be for all of us. So I'm deeply honored and grateful to receive CHALT's endorsement. I look forward to waging a spirited campaign for town council in the coming weeks and to prevailing at the polls on November 3rd. Thank you.